Cameron Parry, hello.
Hello Alex.
Got my glasses on. You've got, for Kolar Gold, we asked shareholders for questions.
Yep.
You ended up with 21 questions, and I've tried to thin the list out.
All right.
It's just phenomenal, the amount of questions you've received. How's it going?
Well, it's going great. We've been in place now for 2 months, got the feet under the desk, went out to India, made a considerable number of changes operationally, structurally. We're putting in processes, cash controls, all sorts of things that you should do in a healthy business. We've just opened up the London-based operating office, so we're still, our registered office is still in Guernsey. Yeah, now we have a central point of coordination to run the company, which is important really for efficiency.
Yeah, because I know you've been over in India doing some groundwork or whatever. So.
Yeah, so we went through for a couple of days just with myself and Stephen Oak, one of our other directors, reviewing the mine plan for the economic feasibility study that's now underway. It's fully funded by one of the other shareholders in GMISAW. GMISAW is a subsidiary company that we own 23.5% of at the moment, which will reduce to 20.5% once all the money is paid for the economic feasibility study. But of course, at the end of that, we get an economic feasibility study, so it's much more definitive on the resource and on the economics of a viable mine to be built at that site. And also went down to or across to the Kolar Gold fields. Had a look at the north, south and east blocks that we have prospecting licenses to, again through GMISAW, as well as meeting with the unions, the head of the union at BGML, that is our sort of working partnership, or Kolar Gold's historic working partnership with one of the parties that believe they have certain entitlements or rights to being involved in re-establishing the mine at Kolar, which was a very high-grade, big volume mine for over a century there in India. I think they had 25 tonnes they pulled out over 100 years with a grade average above 15 grams per tonne.
Good grief.
That's probably a global, world-class resource.
Obviously, you're relishing the challenge. Yeah,
I like India. It reminds me a little bit of Thailand in the architecture, and obviously I spent a lot of time in Thailand with Metal Tiger and establishing that, and to date, but or until recently, and the ground, and one of the reasons why the GMISAW was established by one of the other shareholders, which is Australian Indian Resources, which owns about 30% of GMISAW. Again, we will end up with about 20.5%. Because of the similarities with the Western Australian geology, particularly around the Kgld gold fields. So the Kolar gold fields and the Kgld gold fields are on a Archean greenstone belt. So that was also quite familiar, because I was walking around the land, and it actually feels like being in WA, which is where I'm from originally. So so going to India, whilst it's it has its own its own way or whatever, but there were quite a lot of familiar aspects to it, and I really like it. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity there in all sorts of business. I mean, it is like almost a global economy in one country.
It's a massive economy, you know what I mean? It's a world changer, to say the least, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's, and India is going to be unlocked. I mean, there's a perception of how long will that take, and indeed you need to balance whatever you do to have a defensible position against that. If it takes an extended period, you need to achieve business milestones in other ways, which is why we're diversifying a little bit. But yeah, it's not like it will never. It's like the horse is already bolted. When the race is on, is up to timing and maybe what different people think, but it's not happening. Like, India is a great, vast opportunity for any company, and I'm just really thrilled to be involved with, to be able to take charge of Kolar Gold and actually be primarily involved or focused in India. It's really exciting.
Like I say, it goes without saying really, you bring a lot of experience with you, because you've done the Metal Tiger, then you've gone Concurrently.
Yeah.
So,
that's
it's not as if you haven't,
Well, that's how I first came from Metal Tiger. We look at various micro cap businesses or shells even that we might be able to use for part of our pipeline of projects that we saw in Metal.
Yeah, I remember when you down doors.
And initially made contact with Kolar on the basis of the fintech element that we could have brought from what I was doing with blockchain technology in another company that we listed late last year. But actually there's a bigger opportunity there, and I think the company needed more help. It wasn't in a fit state to run itself, so it needed cash, it needed management. It's got those things now. It needed new ideas or fresh ideas and people who can deliver on those. And hopefully, we think we are those right people. Hopefully, that is the case. Time will tell.
Yes, true. Yes. Like I said, I've got 21 questions here. I don't know how best to cover this because
if you want, I can try and answer them briefly.
Yes,
ask the questions.
Right. I'll roll. Like,
do you want to stop watching and give me like 20 seconds?
These are from your shareholders. Is the potential new near-term cash generation mining asset mentioned in the recent strategy review in a politically and economically stable jurisdiction?
Yes.
You are going through these quick, aren't you? Yeah.
That might be the quickest, but yes.
How long will present company funds last until they need a new injection of cash?
Depends how active we are and what we're pursuing. Obviously, we wanted to be in a position where we've got at least 12 months cash flow in front of us. With the around £1 million+ pounds in the company at the moment, I mean, if you did nothing, you could make that last for 6 years if you like. But I think anywhere between 1 and 3 years. So I'd say 18, 24 months.
Right.
And we'd be quite active during that time.
Number 2B, they've actually got numbers next to them as well. How will this be raised if not through near-term cash generation app?
Well, there's many ways to raise money, to inject capital into a company. If we do some of the things that we're looking at, that are deals that we do, and we maybe spend a little bit of money and get them to a certain level, you can always spin them off and either create value through other shares or through cash out of that. You can raise capital obviously on the market or through your brokers. You can do it privately, you can do it with a strategic partner. You can create joint venture structures and actually raise funds into that rather than diluting necessarily Kolar Gold's shareholder base. There's many ways to skin a cat if you know what you're doing. It's not really that limited.
In April 16, Australian Mine and City Gold Corporation Limited announced an MOU to partner with the consortium to acquire the asset BGML. Consortium members included PAM in India Network Infrares Limited, part of India conglomerate Essel Group. In the face of such competition, what chance does Kolar Gold have of winning any government tender? It's a good question, isn't it?
I'm not certain of the details of that being fully accurate, but nevertheless, let's take that as an example, even if it's a case study or what have you. But it is a good question. The Kolar Gold fields and the mines that were there, who has rights to those, the entitlements of the ex-workers, there is actually compensation. Whatever deal happens, there's compensation coming out to the ex-workers. We've got a working partnership with one of the lead unions involved in that. Kolar Gold has been involved with that for about 12 years now, actually, even before its IPO. It's spent a lot of money as a company involved in that, and whilst I'm not sure all of that is retrievable in value potentially, we're not just going to throw away that involvement they've had there. It's a very opaque landscape for what they can do with the Kolar mine. That is the mine that we were talking about before, the high grade, big volume, it was running until 2002. That's a long time ago, it's 14 years ago, and people have had various factions trying to get back into that. There's about 750,000 ounces of tailings there. Nobody doubts that it's worth doing, but it's still even held up between the federal government and the state government in Connecticut. Then you have these unions, these other factions, you have other interested parties. So for Kolar Gold, for us, what we plan to do is remain on the peripheral of this, to be to keep our ear close to the ground on what's happening, but to not expend a great deal of money doing that, because there is a large degree of uncertainty, and even with the time to complete to get that back into production, and then who those players might be. One thing that strategically we're in an extremely strong position, though, regardless of who does the rehabilitation of the mine, through GMI Saw, we have exploration tenements in the north, east and south blocks of Kolar in the region, and they're highly prospective. They're more prospective than the ground that the mines built on. Obviously you build mines and have tailed dumps and things where it's less prospectivity. Basically whatever happens, at some point someone's going to have to come and talk to us through our connection through GMI Saw and our operating entity.
All right. Obviously, I haven't read these previously.
No.
Would it be possible?
Also, if that's 2A and 2B, that counts as 2 questions. So we're actually doing 22 questions. But
Would it be possible to just ditch the history Kolar Gold Field mine and just explore the surrounding areas, in which I believe
GMI Saw hold licences?
Yeah.
Basically what I was just talking about. So GMI
Yes,
Saw hold
yeah.
licences surrounding that mine? Absolutely, that is one option. So if you've got options, you've got position of strength, and things are okay. And that is one option. We could do that. As I say, we wouldn't want to throw away some of the goodwill and relationships that have been built up over time, but at the same time, you can't be suckered into that too much. These things will work themselves out. Kgld is a small company. We won't be the driving force of how those things on the mine work out. So I suppose our focus would be to just what that person's sort of suggested in their question, which is to focus on the areas we do have control of.
Yeah.
And certainly make sure we're open-minded to deal with the central mining.
Metal Tiger have an option to buy 9 million shares from Daimler at 3.5p on March 2017. Assuming this is to reduce Daimler's influence, is this the case? Question mark. Metal Tiger currently have 9.65% of shares, and another 9 million will take them to 14.31% holdings. Will Metal Tiger be given a place on the board, as was the case of Sun Minings, who had a place on the board at 10%?
So DeMille, they had 20.5% or 20.9% of Kolar prior to the placing that we recently did. They participated in 10% of that, which brought them down to about 14.5%. We as Metal Tiger, basically knowing that, and again I'm not a director of Metal Tiger since the end of July, but
yeah.
I was prior to that obviously. What we did at Metal Tiger, we took an option out over 9 million of their shares, so that once, because Metal Tiger also put 200,000 into the placing, a lot of other people personally introduced, a lot of people also put money into it, and I was going on setting off Metal Tiger to actually come and do this role. What we didn't want to have happen was to have a shareholder that was agitated with the previous management and with the previous performance, to then be in a position where we raise new money from new shareholders with, I suppose, a new and have management with a new vision and a new belief going on in the company, and then to have that disrupted. So it was really just to sort of, I suppose, as somebody has asked there, limit their potential influence with respect to DeMille, but that was a prudent thing for Metal Tiger to do, and indeed DeMille were happy to do it, because if we're exercising that warrant, they've made a considerable uplift. So yeah, it was that, and also we thought, actually opportunistically, because we paid 25,000 US for that, stranger things have happened, particularly at this micro cap band, where you might see a significant multiple happen in Kolar's share price in the near term, that would be in the money, and we can make some more money out of it as Metal Tiger. As far as Metal Tiger putting someone on the board, I mean, I was the founder and original CEO of Metal Tiger. We had a succession plan where Paul Johnson was now the CEO since the start of early this year. Metal Tiger doesn't need anybody else on the board. Kolar Gold really is its own entity. I'm not there as the CEO of Kolar Gold representing Metal Tiger.
Exactly.
As I said, I had to step off the board of Metal Tiger, so there wasn't
That's why you've done that, yeah.
that link, and it doesn't need that, but also I don't know, we're just going to run things in a pragmatic, hopefully an intelligent way. Nobody needs to. Anyway, I guess the answer is no. Metal Tiger's not having anybody on the board.
Yeah.
Not that we're against anybody joining the board if they can add value, but there's nothing like that that's meant to occur.
So it says Kolar Gold is a market cap of 2 million. What key event is going to happen between now and March to raise the market cap by 300% back to Metal Tiger again, to make Metal Tiger a decision to pay 25k again to Daniel
To
DeMille secure
to secure the option,
to share
3.5p.
Yeah.
Look, it's opportunistic. We took a view of the 25,000 US, as well as curbing DeMille's influence potentially. And again, with respect to DeMille, it was just a prudent thing for Metal Tiger to do, putting in a chunk of the placing. It's opportunistic. There's a chance that can happen. I'm not saying we'll definitely achieve a 3 or 4 time multiple on the placing price at 1.1 as it was a couple of months ago. But it's a possibility. It is achievable. It's not unheard of, but I certainly wouldn't be suggesting our shareholders at the farm that we'll achieve that by March next year.
So, like I said, we go on to 21 questions. If I send these over to you, are you okay to reply to them? Q&A?
Yeah, sure. Look, if you're filtering them, because otherwise you'd get random questions at random times of the day. But if you're prepared to be feel like a conduit for it, then maybe you can just give me a list of questions and I can fire something back.
Because the reason I'm asking you now, because we're actually sat in the dining room of Man and Maven's event, and I know somebody's going to walk through that door, because that's where we are sat right now.
Yeah, well, no, that's all. I mean, look, I'll try and be quicker if you like. To be fair, you're not reading them that quickly, Alex. I'm kind of probably carrying you on the speed of the answers for how long the questions are taking to come out. But no, I'm just obviously just getting.
Was there this on the question list? What would be important to you?
What's the plan? There's a question here about DeMille have started selling their shares. As far as we're aware, they haven't been selling down their shares. They're at 14.6% because that's what happened after the placing, by virtue of more shares being on issue.
Yeah.
They participated in the placing, and we haven't had a TR1 form, so that's an assumption someone's made. Johnny Geary looking at going into production Q4 2017 or Q1 2018. I'd say that's going to be probably the second half of 2018. Asking me right now. Johnny Geary Mine intends to deliver 15,000 ounces gold per annum. Is this in 2019? Yeah, if it gets into production in the latter part of 2018, that would be right. Has the output figure changed since the review of the business? Not officially, but if it does, I expect it may go up a little bit. BGML's dependent on government putting licences out to tender. Yeah, so BGML, there is an opaque landscape there. It's not something you would base the whole company's future on. It is something that I think if it comes good and we can monetise, maximise, commercially exploit that, then and when I say exploit, but so that everybody gets benefit out of it, locally as well as financially for certain people, including ourselves, then we would do that. But we're not hanging our hat on it, we're not reliant on it. That's why we're looking at Geomysol really is our foundation in India. What we're doing now is the largest exploration company in India.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So KGL.
There's a lot of questions, isn't there?
Yeah. This is a good one. Why do you, Cameron, think Kgld is worth your full-time involvement? Is it fintech, Johnny Geary, other Indian opportunities, or opportunities outside of India? Yes. All of those things. Currently. Metal Tiger and Kolar share offices. We don't. We have offices in the same building. What is your view of the resource sector and the chances of recovery being underway? I think gold has a. I'm a gold. I believe in gold. I think gold for various reasons. Certainly to do with the global economy and the way fiscal policy and monetary policy has worked in many established economies for the last 30 years. 40 years actually. There's reasons why gold, I think, is a fantastic investment. If you can get exposure to a gold-focused microcap company, I think you can get a much higher return than just investing in gold per se. But when I think the switch, like the light comes on for gold, I actually think it'll move dramatically above where it is now, albeit that might be over the next few years. Can you provide potential investors with an overwhelming and compelling reason as to why now is the right time to invest in Kolar Gold? I'd say that's probably a good one to finish on. It's 19 anyway. All right, so Kolar Gold at the moment, it's well under its net asset value. It's had investment from one of the other shareholders into GMI Saw to have a fully funded economic feasibility study that we'll get the results on in the first quarter of next year. That also values our stake at £3.3 million, which is on our balance sheet at £3 million. The market is aware that we have over £1 million in cash now from recent announcements. So you're then looking at a company with net asset values in excess of $4 million, with the upside of what the results of the economic feasibility study come out with. The market cap is about $2.5 million at the moment. There's new management. There's people who have, dare I say, got a proven track record to deliver. Don't mess around. Don't waste money, and apply a lot of common sense to the way they build business. And it's exciting. It's in one of the biggest markets in the world. No one else is doing this. If you want to get exposure to gold in India, this is the way forward. But that on its own is not enough yet. I think we need to achieve certain things in Kolar Gold to demonstrate that we can perform. So really, for the fact that our net asset values are well through £4 million, our market cap is well under £3 million, and there's new management at the helm that have a track record of doing tremendous things in previous AIM companies, and Metal Tiger obviously being the main, most recent one.
It's nice to see it actually, because I've known you for quite a while, and you are genuinely excited about this. I'm not just saying this because it's on the camera, but we've been chatting like off camera. But you are genuinely, you've got the bit between your teeth there. I know you are.
No, pretty keen. This is exciting. The jurisdiction, being able to add a fintech element to natural resources, it's great. And even what we're doing, or what we're looking to secure in an alternative jurisdiction, if that comes off, we'll be really pleased to be working with those joint venture partners. There are some other synergies that can be in place with our Indian partners. This has got the potential to be something significant, and obviously we're coming from such a low base, we almost can't go wrong. I don't want to say we can't go wrong, because I don't know, something might go wrong, but
I know what you mean.
I won't put the box on it, but I'm really excited about this. This is really interesting.
This is something we'll follow, that's for sure.
Great. Well, thanks, Alex.
I'm sorry about this. We're just in a strange place at the moment. That's all it is.
But I'm glad you made it back safely from being offshore for 2 months.
I know,
So it is. That's it. So timely for us to have a chat, and hopefully the shareholders get something out of this and get some more information based on their questions.
Well, to be honest, we kind of have to put these questions together, but I didn't realise the response you would get.
If they're kind enough to take the time, read some information, formulate their questions, I think that's a compliment.
Interest there.
You've got any director should be should be wanting to do this and answer that, and that kind of engagement is fantastic. As I said, it's a real plus that Kolar has that kind of interest.
I'll just apologise, other questions couldn't get asked. But we are sat.
That's it. We need to go back into the other room.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex.